If you're on any gut healing journey, you probably have heard of the term probiotics. Today in this video, we're going to talk about exactly what they are and how they benefit your microbial community, your gut, for optimal health. The first thing to know is that your gut is really its own little ecosystem. There are a variety of things going on. There's beneficial, bad bacteria, there's yeast, there's parasites, there's viruses, there's a ton of stuff going on. And that's how it should be. We need that balance and we need variety. We don't just want one specific microbe in there. But there are a few different types of microbes and we're gonna go over them real quick. So the first is the beneficial bacteria. Those are your probiotics. And these live in the gut lining right here. In a healthy gut, it's gonna be full of beneficial bacteria. They give that gut lining integrity. So your gut lining is a big tube from your mouth to your bum. And on the sides, there is a microbial community, that's this. It is the mucosal gut lining, and that's where all these beneficial bacteria live. And when you get to the inner parts of your gut, that's where a lot of your immune system lives. Cytokines, lymphocytes, and whatnot. So the beneficial bacteria do a ton. These are your probiotics. Well, it's beneficial bacteria and beneficial yeast. It's just beneficial microbes. And they digest our food. They actually create enzymes to break down our food. So if you've ever had digestion trouble, you may have been suggested to take some sort of enzyme to help break down your food. When you have enough of that beneficial bacteria, those probiotics, your body makes its own enzymes. So your body can break down food, it can break down histamine through the production of DAO. It really shouldn't be a problem. So it breaks down food, it breaks down fiber into short chain fatty acids, which feed your body and feed your gut lining. It also creates our hormones. So it signals to the glands what hormones need to be made. It creates those beneficial bacteria, they create our neurotransmitters. So those are going to be your serotonin. It's made primarily almost 100% in your gut lining. GABA, which is our natural anti-anxiety neurotransmitter, made primarily in the gut. Dopamine, the really feel-good thing, you know, you get a hit from drugs or whatever, is made in the gut lining. So all of these things that should make us feel good, sleep good, concentrate, have energy, but also not have anxiety, should be made in the gut by those beneficial bacteria. They also create your vitamins and your nutrients. So they actually create our B vitamins, which is one of the vitamins that most people are deficient in. And I think that is because we have a problem. We don't have enough of that good bacteria in our gut lining. And it creates vitamin K2, which is also a vitamin that many people are deficient in. So these probiotics seriously do so much in the gut. And I quickly want to highlight two other types of microbes that are in your gut. So there's the opportunistic. So these aren't necessarily bad guys, but they're opportunists. I think of kind of like a car salesman. Like they're not a bad guy, but if they see an opportunity for money, they're like, hey, let me try to sell you this. Those are the opportunists. So one of those is candida yeast. You may have heard of candida. It's commonly overgrown now because when we get antibiotics, it kills all the bacteria that keep these guys in check, so it overgrows. And some of the symptoms of that are like extreme sugar cravings, white-coated tongue, dandruff, toenail fungus, yeast infections, thrush. All of these are related to candida overgrowth. So these opportunists, when we don't have enough of these beneficial probiotics in our gut, let's say we take a round of antibiotics and it destroys those beneficial microbes in our gut. Where they're supposed to be set up camp with these linings, they're now gone. There's an opportunity for these yeasts and other bacteria to come on in and set up camps. These are called biofilms. So candida starts to set up camp because it's just looking for an opportunity. It's not bad, but it's like, hey, there's some land for free, no one's inhabiting it. I'm gonna set up a little camp, I'm gonna grow, I'm gonna multiply, I'm gonna change forms, and I'm gonna start stealing the nutrition, okay? So let's say you eat a nice big salad with some chicken and olive oil. That's your salad. It's coming down, the microbes are digesting it. Well, now these opportunists, instead of the beneficial bacteria stealing these nutrients, now the candida is gonna get some of it. And rather than creating nutrients and neurotransmitters, rather than creating your B vitamins, your hormones, it's going to take these and it's going to actually off-gas things like alcohol and histamine, which is a problem for a lot of people. Okay, my writing's terrible with a whiteboard marker. And so yeah, these are called the opportunists. They're not necessarily bad, but when we don't have enough of those beneficial bacteria keeping them in check, they start to grow and multiply, and that's where we see some problems. So a lot of people would classify those as bad, but they aren't necessarily. Now, the third type is our pathogenic. These are our bad bacteria. And these are like foodborne illnesses, like if you eat something and you have salmonella or the pathogenic strain of E. coli, you eat it, you get sick, you get vomiting, you get diarrhea. This could also be maybe like some sort of bacterial infection, some sort of virus that's passed around, gastro is what we call it in Australia, or like a stomach flu. And these are bad. But the thing about the pathogenic bacteria is that it should be kept in check by our probiotics. Those beneficial bacteria, when we have enough of those, we can get little bad bacteria coming in that make us sick. Let's just call that E. coli. But we have enough of the beneficial bacteria that they can go and they can attack it. They signal to your immune system, hey, there's a guy in here that shouldn't be in here. And then it sends your immune system into overdrive and it starts working to get rid of it. And these probiotics work with your immune system and they will secrete little juices to neutralize that bacteria so that it's no longer a problem. So have you ever wondered why, like in California, there's an outbreak on lettuce and it has E. coli and 10 people have been sick and hospitalized? My first thought was always, okay, if that's happening with lettuce, that lettuce has probably gone to tens of thousands of people. So why are only 10 sick and hospitalized? What happened to the other ones? Well, there's a good chance that the people who weren't sick, who ate that lettuce and had no symptoms, are people who had a ton of that beneficial bacteria, those probiotics in their system. They eat that lettuce, it comes in, and they don't have a problem because they have those beneficial probiotics that go out, neutralize it, get rid of it, and pull it out of the system. Where maybe the people that have the E. coli from the lettuce and they get hospitalized, maybe they actually have a really weak immune system because they don't have enough of those beneficial bacteria. So there's a ton of ways that beneficial bacteria, those probiotics, affect our gut and really support us for our overall health. And I've listed just a handful of them. So if you're wondering how to get more of those probiotics and you really want to start getting them in your system, the number one thing I would recommend is fermented foods. Start getting into fermenting. You can make your own sauerkraut, you can make your own kimchi, you can make your own yogurt. That's going to have exponentially more probiotics than store-bought because store-bought is only cultured for like 30 minutes. Where when you make it from home, you can culture it for 24 hours, right? And that is going to give it so many more probiotics. So if you're interested in that, I'll link the video on exactly how to make homemade yogurt that is going to have so many probiotics and really be great for your gut. Another one is homemade milk kefir, homemade kombucha. These are actually really fun things to get into. And I know people love the probiotic supplements, just the pills you can pop, but really when you make these homemade fermented foods that are full of beneficial bacteria, they have so much more bacteria, so many more probiotics in like one spoonful than a whole bottle of a lot of those pills. I actually did the math on milk kefir, I did the math for sauerkraut, and it's literally like a spoonful of sauerkraut. It's more bacteria than a thing of pills. It's incredible. So get into those fermented foods. That's a great way to start and get those beneficial bacteria. As always, I always say start super slow. If you have an overgrowth of pathogenic and opportunistic bacteria and yeasts that are causing problems, and you just all of a sudden take a ton of that fermented food and a ton of those probiotics, it can cause a lot of gastrointestinal discomfort. It's like setting off a nuclear bomb in your gut and just trying to change everything so quick. So I always say start small. A great place to start is just like a drop of sauerkraut juice. See how you do. The next day, increase it, increase it, increase it. Just be gentle with your body. Remember that these probiotic foods are so powerful. They're not just like, oh, they're a health food. They are powerful. And if you don't have enough of those beneficial bacteria, it can really give you some unpleasant side effects. So that's all you need to know about probiotics. Thanks for watching.